everybody, welcome to Bonus Tizzle. Holy shit, what a busy fucking day. We just got out of a screening of Suicide Squad, recorded a live stream of that, did more of a podcast. We're having to turn it around. That's why Dave will be joining us as soon as he can. Hi, I'm Chris Antista. Brett Elston.
Yeah, this is the bonus show.
The bonus show, and we have joining us, standing in for Dave right now. Who is that?
Guess who's back? Back again.
Oh,
yes. Hey, it's Henry, everybody. It's been a while since I've been on the bonus time.
And you wanted to talk about a bunch of stuff you've done recently.
Oh, man. Have I had... I've had quite a week. And I want to tell people about my adventures in the Star Trek Las Vegas. Nice. And I met some surprising people there. And so, yeah.
So, up top, it serves no purpose. Because I had something I wanted to bring up last week that I thought was just hysterical, and I love having this outlet because now I don't have to write like a concise, well-edited, fair journalistic article on a real situation. I can just talk about it. But so I want you to talk about that in a bit. I wanted to did anybody have any other recommendations for watching for the weekend that they went through? Because I found the coolest end of summer film.
I mean, I listened to wrestling podcasts. I rewatched BoJack Horseman season 3 again, which
I need to rewatch that. God damn it!
Fucking love BoJack so much. It is such a depressing it's a great look at like depression and just like people who constantly like fuck up their lives in different ways. And
see,
all a bunch of great neuroses. I love it, and I've also been spending time like either laughing at this election or like being really sad that like our Mussolini is here.
If you weren't here and I threatened to read it, I wrote an epic political post on Facebook and hitting publish, refining everything. I'm like, never mind. I love doing that. Like an angry response and like, never mind. I got it out. I don't need to show that to everybody.
Yeah,
but I can show you someday if you ever want to see it, people.
I do. I fear with his low things right now. Everybody's like, oh, Trump's definitely ruined. But it's like, well, people underestimated W as well, and he kind of won.
W didn't go up against Al Gore, who didn't want to be president at all. It seemed.
Yeah.
I guess you won. I'll leave now. I gotta go make a movie.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I saw a great movie that I want to recommend to everybody called Kings of Summer, and it was a little buzzed about in 2013. It's about 3 kids, but great comedic appearances from like Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally and Camille Nanjiani and Thomas Middleditch and Marilyn Rice. What it's about is 3 kids who during the summer are like, man, fuck my parents. Let's build a house in the middle of the woods, send ransom notes so our parents think we're kidnapped, and just live in the woods for the rest of of our lives. And so I don't know, like, isn't that something every kid will probably have in common to the end of days, like building a little fucking clubhouse at some point?
Always want to run away from your parents.
Yeah,
I've done. I mean, I tried that once. I tried it because they did it in a Berenstain Bears book, and it looked so fun, I
loved everything in a bear.
Didn't run away, but we definitely built shit in trees,
like a hideaway and shit. And this is just like elaborate. Like they rip out somebody's pool slide and stick it in there to connect it to the second story of this ramshackle hut that they go into. I thought it was amazing. I remember reading great reviews of it, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it since. But the Kings of Summer.
There is a movie I want to see really soon that I think is going to be one of those. It's on demand and in theaters type deal. It's Don't Think Twice.
Don't Think Twice. Oh yeah,
the new
Mike
Birbiglia film starring a ton of improv actors from the UCB theater, including Chris Gethard, who I really like, and Gillian Jacobs is also Gillian Jacobs. And it's just about being in an improv group, which Chris and I took like 2 improv classes.
That's horrifying.
So we see it from that side, but it's also about Mike Birbiglia. Oh, and Keegan Michael. Key. No, Peele. No, Jordan. No, it is Key.
Jordan Peele and Keegan Michael Key.
It's Key is in it as well, and it's about one of the guys gets hired on basically Saturday Night Live, and the others are having to deal with the jealousy of like, I thought I'd be on Saturday Night Live, and it's destroying their like camaraderie of their improv.
Yeah, I was listening to some interview with someone from SNL recently. It's like that dream you have. There are like 10 slots every year. If your dream is only SNL, you need to think outside that, because you could be the greatest and just whoops. You didn't get one of those 10 slots for 5 years, and you'll never get it again. It's gone. Your dream cannot be that concise.
Yeah.
And
I have been really loving Leslie Jones has been tweeting out funny videos of her watching the Olympics.
She actually, for some reason, I'm watching a ton of the Olympics, and I really stupidly got into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's fun. I mean, there's still fun. It's such a corporate monster. Like, I hate it on that level, but it is still fun to watch these competitions.
In a way that I never did for not only the Olympics, but for any other sport. Like the fucking female gymnastics, like all these little... They look like 10-year-olds, but it's just like, how did you get that high? Holy shit, they gave her a what? A 15.796 out of 16. How does the scoring make sense? And I just find myself being invested for the first time. I've deleted like 18 tweets because for some reason the only thing I can be like vigorously mean to nowadays are commercials. Hey Henry, ask me how I decided on my car insurance.
How did you decide on your car insurance?
The funniest.
Which one? Well, Geico's usually the funniest.
It's
got
never
like
the funniest
joke one.
None of it is. It's just sort of funny, and like it's every 7 seconds in the Olympics. Why? And it's multiple insurance companies. I just don't understand it.
Do people need that much insurance?
And I can't. And for some reason, the cynical side of me can't see that many advertisements. And like, if you turn down one policy, that's like the equivalent of like that's if you turn down 3 policies, that's the equivalent of 6 of these. One of these ads, and they air every 7 seconds on everything I have. Stop it. Yes.
We'd love to have paid you back for your house being gone, but that gecko doesn't animate himself.
Sorry, man. It's the Olympics. I had to put it on. Had to get the word out there with the stupid pirate joke. And I also get depressed thinking about some aspiring comedy writer who wants to write comedy for Geico. That is so depressing. But I did find, Jesus, and I can only I don't even feel like I could recommend it publicly because I found like the most mature, funny thing I'd seen. Horace and Pete, I finally found.
Okay.
And it's on our Plex account, by the way, guys. But it's in Elston. If you don't know, Louis C.K. quit Louis, which I thought was a fantastic show. Became like where he started to emerge as one of like this weird filmmaker. And in total secret, he ended up filming the show with like Steve Buscemi and Alan Alda and Jessica Lange and Edie Falco. And
all on his own dime.
All on his own dime, all in secret, and it's like only available through his website. Sorry, Louis. I'll find another way to give you money. I've given you at least $200 in my life, but I did manage to finally see the show. I wanted to play you guys some clips because I'm so recommending this. But it is so not slow, but somber. No laugh track. It is like one episode will be over an hour. One will be 30 minutes. One 30-minute episode could be one scene with Laurie Metcalf doing a straight read. Whoa. And it will floor you how you can listen to Jackie from Roseanne talk for 30 minutes.
Laurie Metcalf.
I found myself floored in a way that like an entertainment we don't get to ever talk about. I wanted to play some clips from it if I could.
Sure.
Because Alan Alda is fantastic on the show. Hawkeye saying the words you'd never hear him say. So Horace and Pete is a bar that's 100 years old. It's always been run by a Horace. It's always been run by a Pete. Alan Alda is an older Pete. Steve Buscemi is a younger Pete. And I think Louis C.K. is like an 8th generation Horace. And they're running this bar, this dipshit bar, and like Alan Alda is such a nasty person. And like this is sort of why you see why he did it in secret. Because I don't think you get a character this nasty who says this many horrible and racist things on television, and having no sympathy. And it's Alan Alda.
All right.
But I just love this clip from it. Let me set up this clip. This is his sister's coming over. Pete and his sister don't get along. The bar might be in jeopardy. It's 2016, and it's this dive bar in Brooklyn that nobody comes to.
Okay.
Fuck. First of all, fuck you dumb cocksucker. Maybe you're afraid of your fucking sister, but I'm not afraid of your fucking sister.
All right, Pete.
And I'll tell you what else, you miserable cunt.
Jesus Christ, man. All right.
No, you know what? I'll be here if I feel like it. I mean, when did you start being the one to tell me where to go, what to do, what to say? Jesus Christ.
All right.
Sucker.
All right.
You know, the thing with you, Horace, you're not a cocksucker. You're a pissant.
All right, do what you want.
No,
you do what you want.
Walk away.
Yeah, I'm walking away.
Pissant. You know what a pissant is? Leon, you know what a pissant is?
I feel like I know.
A pissant is an insect that has no value, but it smells like piss. You know, at least a cocksucker can do something. Suck cock. But a pissant just sits there in the door jamb, smelling like piss.
I was wrong. I thought it was a kind of car.
It's just like you can hear the buzz of the lights.
Yeah.
And like there maybe should be a laugh track. Scenes go on so long. I can't. It's like it could never be on television. Yeah. For a ton of reasons. And I also love this clip just because it's kind of describing a person like me.
I thought I heard you charged that guy $3 for a Budweiser.
Don't worry about what I charge him.
Well, I just don't get why I have to pay more.
You don't have to pay more. You can also get the fuck out.
You can't just charge different people different prices. That's not...
Hey, kid. You going to pay for this beer or you going to wear it? Listen, you mumbling little fuck. You say one more time. What? What did I do? What?
Just let me get it. I got it. Hey, sorry.
It's all right.
You all right? What's up?
Yeah, I was charged $4.50 for a Budweiser.
Yeah.
And that guy was charged $3. Just not sure why the discrepancy.
He's been coming here a long time.
Oh, so is that a privilege for just that one guy, or is like more people that get to pay?
Some people pay $4.50. Some people pay $3.
Okay. How do you decide that? Is there like a list, or?
If he looks like him, he pays $3. If he looks like you, he pays $4.50.
So just out and out discrimination. Are you aware how totally unfair and not okay that is? I'm not sure what group. I mean, I'm Jewish. I'm gay.
Here's the thing: you're getting more for your money than he is.
How so?
Because, well, see, you come here and you make fun of the place because it's an old Brooklyn dive bar, so you and your friends get to enjoy that part of it, and then also you get to have a beer. But he just gets the beer. See, you're here ironically. But he's really here because he just lives on the corner.
So it's like a douche tax?
Yeah, kind of.
Acceptable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I like that you guys look transfixed in these clips. It's a really weird show, and I cannot recommend it enough. Please go give Louis C.K. some more money because he said he did put up his own money. He hasn't made it back yet.
Everybody's made fun of it, but as being
I thought it was so good.
Well, if you listen to, actually, that's the thing I did listen to recently was Andy Kindler's yearly State of the Union thing.
Did that just happen?
Yeah.
I love that. I didn't hear it.
He made fun of Louis a little bit, which he always jokes about how like that's horrible for his career that he keeps making fun of Louis. But
love Andy Kindler though.
But yeah, Kindler also had this great point of like how. When Louis put out an email earlier this year of like, guys, can you?
You're not like Donald Trump.
Trump's a Nazi. He's like, everybody thinks he's such a genius. Louis said Trump is Hitler. Like, wow, nobody said that before. How amazing!
Yeah, the only point I had, everybody who's afraid of every politician calls them Hitler.
Yes,
and like Vladimir Putin. There's your Hitler analogy. That is literally happening on another corner of the world.
That's why I'm saying Trump's Mussolini to his Hitler. I mean, Trump is he is a fascist, like more than other fascists. Look, here's the thing. Just him, like his speech of like he's pounding the thing, like his RNC speech, he was pounding this thing, and he was pounding the desk. He was talking about just like, we're at a threat everywhere. You're so threatened. And he literally does say, and only I can fix it. Like, that is what a fascist says.
I did love Obama. Only he can fix it. We don't want to be ruled.
Yeah.
That was, man.
It's
just
just
like
like,
an epic blow from the president. We really want to talk about this?
And even the silence.
It boils down to me for like, he has like 30, 40 years of history. Right, left doesn't matter. Like, he has just because he gets nominated as one side's guy, like, you should not just decide you agree with him.
That was what you do. Not make me read my deleted Facebook posts on here.
Like,
I swear to God, I'll do it.
Like, because there's aspects of the right that I used to go like.
I can see why someone would believe that.
Yeah, like this totally makes sense. I
could get behind that.
Like, there's aspects of this, there's aspects of left, whatever. A balanced view is what should work anyway. That's all good and well. But like,
go after the families.
But this guy is like. He has a history of like only caring about himself, throwing everyone under the bus, failure, mocking people, being rude, being disrespectful, only putting his name on big as letters as he can. Like, God damn it. I just don't like. This isn't not even political at all. He is a man. Is like, why? This is what 30 years making fun of him.
I wanted to write one last thing about it and put it out there, and then just pulled it back. Do not. Look, people really want to hear it. We'll do it next week. I've been teasing the murder thing, though.
All right,
murder.
What is this?
Like, it was. Unless we really want to keep talking about Trump. I don't
That's all I have to say.
Like I ended up down a rabbit hole last week, and I was just, you might be fascinated by it. Like just it was unsolved like mass murders from a time before like phones and the internet, and somebody stumbled upon it, and it's hard to Google because it's the family called the Sims in Tallahassee next to my house.
Whoa!
So like I find this article from this person who writes up this horrifying murder, an engineer and his pastor clerk wife, and their 3 daughters. 2 daughters leave for the evening, and when they come home to find in a bedroom their mother, father, and little sister murdered in Tallahassee, Florida, near my house in 1966.
Whoa!
In 1966, and so I'm reading this article.
So Star Trek's on the air.
Star Trek is still on the air.
Well, it just started.
Star Trek is on. It just started. Star Trek is on the air. There's no sign of forced entry. There's no sign of any belongings or cash being taken, and no signs of sexual misconduct. And what I didn't know is that when something like that happens, no matter what the year, there are portions of the internet dedicated to finding who did it. And so like someone is Googling this case, and they're being nice enough not to mention just a lot of specific names, and they mention like that's why I didn't want to write about it. It's so personal to me. The guy who was Tallahassee sheriff, it was like his first case. And he would, and people would ask him about it like every 6 years. He's like, "This is the one that haunted me. I couldn't find out who it was." And then somebody finally pressed him in the '80s on the record that like, no, I had some suspects. And so what this person was doing on their blog was writing up the suspects, but not naming their names.
Okay.
Not naming their names. That like, how did this happen? And it's like, well, there were these 2 fucked up teenagers who lived across the backyard. Like who had access from the backyard, and this is all like the second the sheriff's got the call about the murder. They go in and the first thing they do? Make some coffee, taint like hang around and taint all the fucking evidence because it's the 1960s.
Yeah.
And he does, and like there's this. They skip town a little later. They got married and then they got divorced, and then like, and this guy's like, and I'm searching like through his family, and like I see that his grandson is arrested, and he's also a piece of shit. So and then his conclusion is like, what the fuck did I just do? Go down this rabbit hole where I'm accusing this 22-year-old, because of the actions of his 22-year-old grandson, of the suspect. I'm convicting him like I'm such a piece of shit, and like well, whatever. This is all fascinating, like learning about how you can botch a case in 1966, because apparently the young teenage female suspect came back in town, was questioned, and was answering questions in a way like, if I admitted culpability to this, what would happen? And the sheriff responded, "You'll go to jail." And then all of a sudden, of course, there's like this breakdown of like, that's what you don't say to someone who you don't say there, and all the stuff like the mom was still alive, so they took her to the hospital, and so police procedure is to report the victim as still alive to flush out the killer, because thinking that like if it's someone in their family, well, this person's going to wake up and start talking. So flush out someone early, or get them light a fire and they start moving, and you start watching people, and they fucked up everything on every level of that. Like if I were to confess to this, what would happen is like, well, you'd go to jail. And you're supposed to say like, we don't know what we can do for you until you tell us everything, and the more you tell us, the better it's going to be. That's the thing, kind of protocol you're supposed to say.
That's how cops trick you, man. Never tell cops nothing.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't, unless like always have a lawyer present.
Unless you know who stole. It was in the '90s though. It was a VHS copy of Joe's apartment. If you can find, if you have any information,
but it's this murder, 1966. The author's thesis is that like, this is not healthy for me to go down this rabbit hole. I have no business espousing my own theories. I'm not going to name anybody's name. Yeah, I can't decide in a guilty party because it looked like his grandson 70 years later was guilty. And like, whew, that was an interesting read. One accidental scroll into the comments, and all of a sudden, 800,000 experts in this murder case are chiming in about what really happened. And to make it even more interesting, right after that, is like, "Hi, I'm the guy you're saying did it. I am 70 years old." And so like all of a sudden, this accused person of a murder 50 years ago, 70 years old,
identifies himself.
His name is Vernon Fox. He does it in like, because not only did he do it in that article, like this article caught fire in Tallahassee, that like the real news wrote it up.
Right.
And this guy's jumping in every article to defend himself from the murder fans who are following this case and have been since who God knows how long. But I didn't know that there was
Wow.
like, this is something that I fell into for like 5 hours because he's like, I did not do that. And he's 70. He has this weird way of talking. I didn't kill that ugly little girl. And like, why did you call her ugly? He's like, because. Oh, that's a joke from the 60s. You wouldn't get that. Like, of course nobody would get that when you're talking about the victim of a murder. And then like, right, I didn't do this. Here's where I was. The only DNA you'll find of mine is in Georgina and that Ford pickup truck where I made fucked, like, just all this weird speak. And then like, right after that, a cryptic tweet. I saw you, Vernon, under the streetlight. You were looking at the house. I saw you there that night. And so you, who the fuck are you? Didn't see anything. Here's what I saw. It was a hit job, and now all of a sudden he has all this information, and he's like, it's a hit job. And then when I was walking home, a car pulled up with 3 men I couldn't recognize in it, and someone said, no, it's not him, and they drove off. And I tried to describe that to police, and it was a hitman. How else do you explain all this? It was a .38 caliber shot, point blank to the head, and like, how the fuck does everybody know all this about a 1960? And this is happening right now, like as we speak. There is this argument is raging on like Tallahassee message boards.
That's amazing. Well, because that reminds me some of the stuff, you know, Michelle McNamara, the late wife of Patton Oswalt, like that was her
job.
That was her job. She took a huge interest in real life, in unsolved murders like that, but digging into less famous ones.
Yeah.
So. And yeah, she talks about how there is like a murder community like that she was a part of, that she was more into finding justice for the people. Like she says there are some people who get into those things who are like, they have a unhealthy obsession with the killer and how the killer did it, when she was on the other side of it, like, no, I want justice. Like she looks at the grisly details too, but she wants to find the killer.
I mean, it was bizarre. Vernon, how do you explain the banana tree with the leaves methodically spliced up by the knife that night you were watching them, the tree? And he's like, what fucking tree are you talking about? You're saying I was hanging out in my tree?
Wow.
And like, he sounds guilty and everybody appears to know everything. And they keep, but he's flying all over the place under his real name, and it made me want to point out that like, we think old people aren't on the internet, but this guy found his name out there, and also like, oh, I remember Valerie, like you're on the internet, and you remember that you went to school with these 20-year-old girls in 1966, and you're searching for this. Or is this? I don't know. It's like a really baffling community to fall into. And so if we don't have a question of the week, but if we did, we don't have a question of the week yet. It would be, tell me about a local murder or unsolved crime in your hometown.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, all right. So let me tell you guys about my weekend. So I did Comic-Con, and you can hear all about my time at Comic-Con on that Cape Crisis Henry's Comic-Con diary. And I thought
I did not listen to it. I
thought I'd have a little time off. I will likely be at PAX Prime, guys, in Seattle, so say hi if you're going to be going.
Are we going to be there, Elston? Is it too late for us?
It's a little late.
But I'll be there. I'll be there for work.
When is August?
It's first weekend of September. But I thought I'd have some time off, and then I get a call the 3 days before I'm going to go that my company I work for, Fandom or Wikia, they are having a presence at the Star Trek 50th anniversary celebration in Las Vegas. And so I book a flight with a video producer from Wikia and another editor from Fandom. We head down there, and so it was one of these things where I was in the Rio Hotel in Las Vegas for 5 days straight. I left it once the entire time, and so
walking outside in Vegas is the fucking worst.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't next to it was like an 8-minute walk from the Strip on the highway, or you could take a $12.
It's a weird
taxi
spot where it's like physically close to the Strip, but impractically.
Yeah, we went a while back, and all of Vegas is sort of connected underneath. Even like competing casinos.
Yeah, the Strip is, but then there's the stuff that can't afford to be on the Strip.
This is like slightly.
So you have no Carrot Top or Chris Angel at your hotel?
Penn and Teller were at this.
Oh, that's even better. Jesus Christ.
I didn't go to any shows there. Penn and Teller and Rock of Ages, the musical. Yeah, not so into that. But it's in the convention center attached to the Rio Hotel. So I'm staying in the Rio Hotel, and unrelated to Star Trek, the video producer I work with there, Jeremy, cool guy, he taught me how to play roulette, and I never played.
A Guilty Gear character?
Jeremy Roulette?
Jeremy Cool Guy?
Jeremy Cool Guy, yeah. Jeremy taught me how to play roulette. I had never played it before, and I I liked it too much. I lost $150 on it.
That's you got it a Vegas fine then.
Because it's $10 a turn.
Everything
so.
on red.
That was the biggest heartbreak I had in Vegas, which was he had a number 27 and he hit it 3 fucking times when I was sat there, and you win 35 times what you bet on if it hits the number. I was so jealous, and I was like, I don't even think I have a number. And they said, well, what's your birthday? I was like, well, I was born on the 6th, and they're like, okay, 6, and it's like, all right, 10 on 6, lost. All right, anyway, back to betting evens or odds or whatever. Next time it was 6, and I was like, that broke. I was like, $350. I could have won $350, and I was like chasing it. I spent another $100 at that table chasing 6 again.
I want us to go to a casino with my other friends more knowledgeable, because I will never play anything. I said that before. I'm so uncomfortable with gambling. I read a bunch of books on poker just to go to Vegas and play poker. I don't lose money, but I don't have any fun. I play methodically. I can't talk to anyone. I try and get as many free drinks as I can. I play 2 hands an hour. It sucks. Fucking craps. Fucking every time I've gone,
too complicated.
It was, but then I went twice with friends who made sense. And every time I go, I forget, because I went in Puerto Rico and tried to put money down. It's like, it's your first time? Like, it's my 4th. But since I do it once every 18 months, I don't remember.
I like riding the side of the table.
But that's what, like when you're not rolling, you just put bets on shit.
Like
that's what's great, because you don't lose money as fast.
Sure.
And that horseshit cliche of the entire table screaming. It just happens naturally because you're betting on somebody else not to lose.
I want to go and adopt a persona and put a giant cowboy hat on.
There's nothing I've ever wanted. I want to win 200, like I'd say 500, however much it costs to be fitted for a stupid suit, because I want that as part of the montage of my life with Dean Martin's kick in the head at the very end. I have to be fitted for a suit in Vegas. It has to be vanilla colored. It's going to be great.
So
can it be scenes from like Empire Strikes Back?
Exactly. Yes, watching Empire Strikes Back in a revival movie theater with "Ain't that a hole in the bowl?"
Well, I mean, like your suit is just stitched together. Scenes
wait, I can
of
deal
like
with that.
Hoth and Chewbacca.
Oh, that.
and I had a hundred.
So a texture pack.
Yes, it is.
I actually splurged in a $100 steak dinner too, which was a really incredible. Like,
we're still Laser Time employees. We cannot relate.
I did that during Charlie's bachelor party, and that's when I ended up pooping in the Flamingo for an hour.
That's the only time I got to play poker. I played one hand, lost $3, and that's all I get.
Trying to desperately push out what felt like a football, and while I'm in there is in a gargantuan, completely empty 30-stall bathroom in the Flamingo with deafening Black Eyed Peas playing.
Poop.
Just like, I'm like, fuck, like, what do they expect anybody to do in here? You can't concentrate on shitting.
Put your legs up, light a cigar.
God, I could do anything in
Natural
here.
laxative.
You can't hear fucking anything.
You can't hear your thoughts or think like to yourself, I shouldn't gamble anymore. I've spent all this money.
Yeah, I guess.
And so I also played some on the Batman slot machine, which was my best luck.
Is it the 66 one?
Yeah, the 66 one. The best slot machine.
It's
I love
huge.
it so much. Yeah, but okay, so
is this the first? Is this an annual Star Trek convention or just for the 50th?
They've done it multiple years in Vegas. Yeah,
is that where you went to the Star Trek experience?
That's separate. That is on the Strip.
Well,
or was.
Well, so I went in 06, weirdly enough, 10 years ago. Heard about it on 30/20/10 in October. But no, it opened in 97 or 98 in the Hilton, which is off the Strip, and it was a full-on Star Trek. There was like a ride, there was a Klingon one, then they opened a Borg one. There were like ships hanging from the ceiling. I still have a mouse pad, which dates it beautifully. But
I threw away all the free tchotchke mouse pads that I got. I really need one now.
yeah, I had an X-Files one that I had since 94, and
a
I
GTA twat one.
Oh god damn, yeah. But no, I went like right as it was dying, because like there was no Star Trek in 06. Like the reboot 09 one was 3 years away.
Enterprise is
off. Like
Enterprise is
the Nemesis is 4 years old.
Star Trek Online is a glimmer in the eye.
So like
PC
there's
gamers
just
everywhere.
nothing. There's just nothing happening. So it was pretty sad.
So this time, though, hopefulness at Star Trek, because it was 50 years. Discovery, the film just came out. Discovery is like 6 months away. But so
I did. You didn't see any footage of that.
No.
That I looked. I think that's January.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's
January,
like
yeah.
5 months away.
Pretty close. They must be filming it now.
I guess.
They better be.
But so it's at the Rio Hotel, and casino and then convention center attached. So the weird thing is that I just got used to by the third day, which is there are just people in Star Wars costumes gambling around everywhere too. Like they're
Star
on
Trek.
You see in their Star Trek costumes.
But were there Star Wars costumes?
That's
a huge faux pas.
There was somebody who brought an R2 unit there.
That's fucking bullshit.
But so there are people in their Star Trek costumes all around the casino, and you just get used to it of like seeing people in all their different outfits gambling. And it was also hard to get to the Batman one because all the geekiest ones were taken by all the other geeks there.
Well, we were in Vegas for Money in the Bank for wrestling in June, and like
Vegas twice this year.
I have,
and it was like. There are so many NWO shirts in this casino.
That's true. So the famous people spotting there. So what I did, I barely got to really walk around the show floor or like meet anybody or see the panels because 4 times a day I was co-hosting with my coworker Leslie. We were doing a trivia contest at the Quarks Bar. We were doing a trivia contest, which. Let me tell you, I have used to being the #1 king geek on this thing of like, I know the most about this stuff or whatever. Star Trek convention, I was ruined. Like it was just humbling of like, I don't know anything. Everybody here knows more than me. I'm mispronouncing every Klingon word. I don't know anything about Enterprise, like the show Enterprise.
All I know is Jonathan Archer.
Yeah, and
that's all I know.
So on the first day, like there were a couple questions that were just straight up wrong, like, and the audience booed us for like, that's a wrong answer, boo! It's an Oberth class ship, boo!
Yeah.
And we're just like, I'm sorry.
You know how most people know it today? Wikis.
Yes, yeah. I know they've been reading them on Memory Alpha.
The bitter irony of the Wikia people.
So, but then after the first day, I then took it upon myself. Like I could have just had mispronounced things and had wrong questions all week, and just be like, "Fuck it, who cares? These Trekkies, they're dorks. I'll never satisfy them." But instead, I went through the rest of our questions, which were like hundreds of questions. And double checked all of them through Memory Alpha and reviewing footage because there were, and so by the end, I was able to go like, no, wait, that line isn't from the original series episode, The Apple. It's from Spectre of the Gun. We need to change that. Or no, this is how you pronounce the Kerwood Smith's character name. And I was the one,
bitches leave.
And I was the one correcting her on like it's V'ger, and. The one that embarrassed me the most was like she was saying Guinan, and I was like, it's Guinan.
Oh my God.
Like the second she said it, I know it's Guinan. I was looking at everybody. Guinan, it's Guinan. I know everybody. It's Guinan.
I had that one moment in that Walking Dead thing that was forced upon me. That like
Commander Data.
At least because I was reading The Walking Dead, I'd watched every episode of the show because it was like one season old and an instant phenomenon, and I'm going to go up on stage and introduce Chris Hardwick and Robert Kirkman. And I'm told they're going to be 15 minutes late and Chris needs to fill. And he's like, but we got it. We got an exclusive clip. I'm like, you do? You got an exclusive clip from is it from a new episode? I'm like, yeah, it's from a new episode. I'm like, oh, what is it? So I know to introduce it. And like, it's this and this. And like, that aired 2 weeks ago. And like, no, it didn't. It's an exclusive clip. And then like, I'm with this crowd of people that I don't know that much. I'm like, dude, that sounds like something that already aired. He's like, fuck you, man. They told us it was an exclusive clip. Quit asking us. And of course, guys, we got an exclusive, brand new clip for you, I'm told. And it goes on, and they show it. And of course, it's exactly what I think it is. It's a clip from last week's show. And then I got to throw everybody under the bus. And I was like, yeah, guys, I hope you like that exclusive clip because it was cut exclusively from last week's fucking show. God damn it. I got to spend 5 minutes riffing, berating my colleagues.
That's great.
And thank God my friend was there, Paul, and Mike Grimm was there to see it. Like, I knew Walking Dead enough to like go out into the crowd and ask questions.
Yeah.
Because I knew the show, thank Christ. I couldn't imagine if I was in that situation.
Well, so it rekindled memories for me of Star Trek because I watched it a bit in the mid-90s and I've seen all the movies, and so I have a corner of Star Trek knowledge in my brain, nothing like Brett, for example, or Carolyn knows, but like it rekindled some stuff for me, and by the end of it I actually was like, here's a question about Andorians, and hey, we got some Andorians playing over there, and I point at them, and so I was able to do a bit better, and I also had to curb my negativity a bit because I, at first, was trying to score jokes off like, yeah, Star Trek Nemesis, what a great movie, am I right? And people were like, this is a celebration of Star Trek. We don't want to laugh about that one being bad.
Yeah, come on.
But when a question came up with, like, I totally forgot Data's previous form was like, or that the B4 android, like B4, that's awful.
It's really dumb.
So bad, man.
I think there's a benign.
Yeah.
And that's different from a pizzone, which is only.
Shut up! I'm starving.
So I
Fold
had
the pizza in half and feed it to me.
So I had all those questions and trivia. That was fun. But so then the famous people I got to meet was really interesting and random. So we were in the back, and so I sometimes got to see like George Takei or William Shatner like walked through the hallway, and I was just like, well, I'm not going to bother them. I'll just watch them from afar and say I saw them. Same with Nichelle Nichols, and I was real sad I didn't get to see any of the TNG people. But every night on the show, every night after our final round of Quizzards, who came out to sing for 30 minutes to an hour with Star Trek versions of classic show tunes? Chase Masterson, a.k.a. Lita from Deep Space Nine. You know, the Dabo girl turned wife of Nan in Deep Space Nine. Chase Masterson?
No.
Well, she was very nice, and she sang lots of funny songs about changing diamonds are a girl's best friend to Latinum is a girl's best friend.
It's just there's a limit to my fandom. As someone who can, within seconds, tell you the name of a Next Gen episode and the season it's from, even I, like, there's just aspects of it that I'm just like, nah.
But so Chase Masterson was nice, and then halfway through the event I found out, so we were working with the Roddenberry Corporation, or the Roddenberry Group.
Rodcorp?
That is run by Rod Roddenberry, the son of Gene Roddenberry.
Not to be
Majel.
confused with Barry Roddenberry.
Yes.
Rod Roddenberry. He is a nice guy. Nothing, I would not make fun of him. But running the operation there, too, was a woman I just knew as Claire. And I was like, well, Claire, you're an attractive young woman who's, like, running the operation here, and you're like, she was on top of everything. She was putting on like dozens of fires all the time, like a total pro. But I didn't recognize her at first, and then I find out halfway through that she's Claire Kramer, who played Glory in the fifth season Big Bad in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You texted me on this, and I thought from your text, like, did you know the girl who used to play Glory is my PR lady? And I'm like, what? And I go and look up Glory, and like, she's in like 2 things this year. How is she working PR?
Maybe not PR, but she was production or something. Like, she was doing all the work.
Oh, so sorry, I went back and reread it. She was working this thing because she's involved with Star Trek Continued.
Yeah. So she was working on that, and she was running stuff at the Roddenberry stage. And like, anytime I was like, hey, do you know who I could ask for this thing? She's like, oh yeah, it's right over here. Or like, she was on top of all that stuff. But then realized like, oh, you're the actress who played. And then I heard later somebody else saw her, like, she's walking around somewhat anonymously, but then some fan came up to her and said, like, oh, are you Claire Kramer? And she's like, no, I get that a lot, but no. And then a coworker came up to her and said, like, hey, Claire, can we? And she's like, shut up. Like,
oh, really? She's trying to.
She doesn't want to be recognized. She's like, I'm working this whole thing now. I don't want to be recognized while I'm doing this job.
She's like so recognizably gorgeous.
Yeah, and she is gorgeous, and she like they did a toast to 50 years of Star Trek one of the nights, and she like really dressed up in this amazing dress. Like, she was beautiful, like, but she was also just awesome to work with. She was very great. And then the weirdest celebrity I met had nothing to do with Star Trek. And though also like Whoopi Goldberg was around, and like Claire got a picture with Whoopi, and I was super jealous, like that, because she
almost tried to do a Whoopi Goldberg impression, but it would have been too Bill Cosby, and I blame Ellen Cleghorn for that, because that was her. That's the way she did it. But
like Whoopi went straight from doing signings for Star Trek to then film to then doing a stand-up set in Vegas, and
really?
So then I got to, we did an interview with a woman who's also working on Star Trek Continues, who's a professional actress, and she'd been on an episode of Enterprise. Her name was Kip Lee. And so she was super nice, and then when she came over, she's like, oh, that's my husband over there. He's a comedian. And I was like, do I know him? I was like kind of squinting, but I didn't recognize him at first. And so she does her thing, and while she's doing her thing, I then just Google, like, Kipley Brennan husband,
Sinbad.
Emo Phillips.
Whoa.
It was Emo Phillips, and then
Does he still have the hair?
that's why I didn't recognize
Is it
him.
a
I
wig?
think that's a wig now, but he had full head of hair. Like he had just normal hair, not the Beatles
Oh.
bowl cut. And so then I like did a double take, and I was like, oh my god, that is Emo Phillips. Oh shit! So she's doing her whole like video testimonial behind me
shit.
while I'm just freaking out. Like Emo Phillips is over there.
Emo Phillips, UHF.
Yeah, and so when
I don't know anything else Emo Phillips has ever been in.
well, he's on Dr. Katz. And,
He was on Dr.
Hell
Katz.
movies, and so when she was done, I like thanked her and was trying to be super professional, and I just said at the end like, by the way, like I'm a huge fan of your husband. I don't want to bother him, but I'm a big fan. She's like, oh, he loves being bothered. Come on, and so she like brought me over to him, and I just like shook his hand, said thank you so much. I've been a fan since Dr. Katz. He's like, he was just super nice. Said, oh no, thank you, and I said like, yeah, I was at the reunion show you did with Dr. Katz last year in San Francisco. He's like, oh, you're at the Austin one too. I was like, no, just San Francisco one. And
Jet setter emo.
well,
Doing
he
that.
doesn't know, but so yeah, he was just super nice, and I just didn't recognize him because he was not in his stage costume I know him from, and so but he was super duper nice, and I tweeted about it, and he liked it, and so that was the biggest like starstruck moment I had at the Star Trek convention, meeting comedian Emo Phillips, who I've been watching his stand up for decades now. My favorite joke of his from Dr. Katz was him saying like, so I was walking I won't do that. I was walking down the street, and then I saw my old friend from second grade, Jeremy, and I came over and slapped him on the back and said, how are you doing, you old so-and-so? And he started crying, and I remembered, wait a minute, if that's Jeremy from second grade, he'd be grown up too.
All right, that's good.
That's a great. So
That's good.
And yeah, only other thing I have to say about Star Trek is that it left me more in love with Star Trek than less. I was like, I'm either going to come out of this hating Star Trek or wanting to re-examine Star Trek
Well,
and rewatch some stuff.
Looking up Claire Kramer, she was involved with Star Trek Continued, and has that consistently been what the fan show is?
Sort of, yeah, and it's part of a podcasting network too. They were doing like live podcasts on the stage, and part of me wanted to like say like, "Oh, you're a professional podcaster too, huh?" But I did not.
But for years, there has been a fan-made Star Trek series with original cast members taking place in the universe that Paramount is allowed to exist.
Yeah.
As long as they don't make any money off of it.
Yes.
And I've never seen 1 second of this, and neither have any of you guys.
No, I have not.
I've seen pieces, and I have not watched it. No,
But is it because it's not very professional?
Hey, who knows?
I don't
Who's to
watch
say?
much of anything, so it
Yeah.
takes a lot to get me to watch.
It takes a lot for me to watch professionally made things.
I know I don't watch a lot of fan-made stuff either. It's just that happened. That was happening before YouTube.
Oh wow!
Like-
I didn't know they've been working.
No,
on it
I think
that
it's
long.
been happening a really long time.
Yeah, there was. I think I was at WonderCon a couple years ago, and there was something big happening with it, and they were running like trailers of it, and I can't remember what it was called, but it looked good. Like
I imagine
for something
it
that
looks
has
good.
the budget that it does, I was like, this actually looks pretty
So
decent.
I did watch it. I take that back. I watched a ton of Star Wars fan shit when broadband internet first came on because everybody was like learning how to make lightsabers and like Star Wars kid stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember watching a lot of like those fucking like the Batman versus Alien
Yeah.
thing or whatever. What was it called?
It's-
Or Dead? Like,
I forget what it's called.
Dead End or
Something
I
like
want to
that.
call it Endgame, but it's not that.
but it was
the
like
dearly
Bat-
departed boner from Growing Pains is Joker.
Son of Walter Koenig,
Son of
Chekhov,
yeah.
who has now outlived his replacement Chekhov. Which that was a couple more things from it. It was a bummer there. Well, but it was a nice tribute that they had a sign up in memoriam of Anton Yelchin that everybody was signing, fans and stars alike. They all went to it. Like I did get to see actually. I saw Jerry Ryan. She did a funny thing where
Jerry Ryan.
there were lots of like props built up there for photo shoots. So they had like here's the original here's a replica of the original teleporter bay.
a replica of the original.
Well, it's in. I mean, just so you can see stylistically,
Yeah.
it was not the teleporters from TNG, for
Right,
example.
right.
and it was like, or here's the city on the edge of forever time tunnel,
Right.
or here's a Borg assimilation chamber, and it was really cool. And Jerry Ryan posed in that for pictures, which was neat. But so they had an Anton Yelchin thing, they had all those things I posed with, and they also, so we did this thing called Fan Census there, where we filmed about like 60 or 70 fan testimonials just about why they love Star Trek, and there were people crying. They were Star Trek meant so much to them. There were so many people who were like, I've been watching since September 8th, 1966. I've been loving it this long. And I'll also say, such a diverse fan base. Like, there really was. Like, now there were totally like the white dudes you expect, like, the white fat nerd who's never had sex. Like, they're Star Trek fans. But
the black lesbian Klingons.
Yes. there were tons of women there, tons of people of different races, like dudes from Colombia who were there, just huge fans, and guy from Australia, black women, Asian women, all these types of people who...
I would have to imagine, I think we grew up with the idea that Star Trek cosplay and fandom dominated every con of every kind for at least 30 years, and then now almost barely any Star Trek. It's definitely not the dominant presence. So like the idea that like you might have been to a Comic-Con, but it's no longer does it feel like open arms for Star Trek fans? You'd have to have a whole Star Trek convention for that.
It's like the shows have been off the air, and only really Next Gen is really shown with any regularity.
That's true. They don't rerun the other stuff at all.
Like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, Spike was rerunning DS9, and even that was a decade ago. So
kids
it's like
can't discover it as easily.
So like I don't know where outside of stuff's on Netflix, but like you need to know and discover it. So like that's why the new show I'm firmly believe that CBS they're gonna broadcast that first episode, and then it's only on the app. Like I think you will really want the audience that's going to watch that. You're going to always want to fill an hour's worth of TV every week, and you already have a show that you're spending money on. There's no way you're leaving it on an app that, after a month, is not going to hit the numbers you hope it will.
Nope. No.
Because nobody's do. Yeah. So put it on your broadcast network thing, because people will want to watch Star Trek. And I hope that kind of gets people talking about it, and
so
because again, we need a fucking positive future where everything didn't fucking blow up in our faces.
No,
it's fine to have that, but man, that's all the last 10 years.
It doesn't need to be everything. That was my defense of Flight of the Navigator, that it was just like science fiction adventure, not dystopian.
Yeah. Well, and that was something I was hearing over and over again from the fan census videos too, of just like, this shows you a future where we can all work together, where it
might work out for us.
Yeah, and that logic can win out, and that people can, you understand who you are and you respect who you are, but you also respect who other people are.
But for some reason, you only read Shakespeare.
Well, the crazy part is to get to that point in the Star Trek timeline, we have to blow ourselves
there has
up.
To be a World War
Earth has to be pretty much wiped out, and then Zephyr Cochrane.
There's a World War III, and we nuke each other into the Stone Age, and whatever's left, we...
is that the...
Yeah.
Is
that's
the story?
in First Contact, but
it's mentioned like there's no
at a certain
there's
time
no,
Khan tries to take over the world.
Yeah, there's a
90s.
eugenics war, which is like we'll breed super soldiers, and then they turned on us. Whoops! Like that's
it always happens with everything we make.
Yeah, it's all in there, and it's only by like bringing humanity to the brink of extinction does everyone kind of rebond, and it's like that is what it'll take. Like it will take there only being a million people left on the planet or something.
But there were so many hopeful people, and just to the few I want to spotlight, one was this lovely young lesbian in her 20s who just she discovered Star Trek just through fan fiction. She said she read the fan fiction first and then watched the shows to get it, and then started writing her own fan fiction about Janeway and Chakotay on.
And you should have asked her, what was your gateway into fan fiction then? You can't just happen upon fan fiction.
Well, this is a separate thing, but I heard this woman comedian once explain why she prefers sexy fan fiction to porn, because she's like, all this porn is just like fuck a woman as hard as you can. It's just like so off-putting to women.
Smack her butt.
Wouldn't she rather want to read like her favorite characters from some nerdy thing having sex instead?
But they got to talk about their feelings.
Yeah,
you got to set the stage.
Yeah, you got to put Fabio on a horse.
Yeah. So there was her. There was this woman who like she had gotten into. She was like in her early 60s, and she gotten into like social justice and all this stuff because she was she had rather light skin, but she was said she was the child of two black people, and she got to see race from both sides because some people don't identify her as black, and she got to see that through Star Trek as well, and also there were multiple people who came up and they were just like, you know, I'm on the autism spectrum, I have Asperger's, I have all these things, and that they said they were able to, you know, focus through Star Trek or identify with characters like Data or Spock and see that they could specialize in something.
Yeah.
And there was this one guy who's like, you know, I'm on the spectrum, but I now have a master's in this thing, and I forget the
Klingon.
Yeah, it was an applicable field, but there were multiple people who like talked about being on the spectrum and how Star Trek helped him. And then the last bit of people that really made me cry, or actually was one that made me tear up a bit, was this woman who had been watching since it was started, and she had watched it with her husband in the 80s and with her children. And her and her husband had bought tickets for this because it was going to be their wedding anniversary that weekend. And then he passed away in the last few months. And so she was doing it without him. But she's like, my kids are here and we're having a great time. I'm so happy I came. But as she's giving her story, like she starts crying at the end of it. And like her daughter was right there to like hug her, and they talk more. And she was okay, but like it was so powerful. And
So I'd like to scatter his ashes in William Shatner's hair.
she did have a southern accent. It's funny you mention
You
that.
know she did.
And also there were
I know he's up in here.
there were a few people who like
I regret that I didn't.
there were a few people who
Bonus
were like,
time. No one's going to hear it. It's fine.
No, I just like I feel her plight.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, there were a few people who like had just beneath the surface like sad lives that, but not like you mean like, I don't mean to say like, oh, I'm so alone, or I don't have a wife or whatever, stuff like that. It was more people saying like, me and my father never got along except with Star Trek, and so even now, even though we never talk, it's except about Star Trek. Or then somebody saying like, my mom introduced me to it, and we never get along about anything except for Star Trek. And that was one woman with her daughter. They were doing the testimonial together and said that together. They both agreed, and I was like, damn. And this was the same mother who like she had been cosplaying Deanna Troi for 28 years, she said, and she still looked like an awesome Troi. Like she is in great shape. And then there were also a couple of military guys who talked about how like it inspired them to get into the military, and then another guy who talked about how he had been
Sounds disillusioning.
he had done 4 tours, including 3 in Iraq, and he said like Star Trek kept him sane, and he talked about how like he has brothers in the military who, and he means his brothers in the military, not his like genetic brothers,
Starfleet
but
compatriots.
he talked about how like they have problems with PTSD, and he says that Star Trek helped him avoid that, and that he, while he was away, like he introduced some of his fellow Marines and officers to Star Trek, is like, this is a great outlet during this thing. And it is, like the dream for me of Star Trek is like, it is the structure of the military, and Starfleet is a military operation, but it is, and often stuff comes out of like chain of command or people telling you to do something you don't want to do, but it also is like logic reigns supreme. Like it is usually the smartest, best person for the job is the one in charge, and it's like this dream of the military. Like it's beautiful, but that's what I love about Star Trek. That it feels like the best version of a military operation.
Plenty of enemies.
Because it's also about scientific exploration.
Yeah.
But
Starfleet
also
doesn't go around to start wars, even though they often do. But
yeah, well, that's what I liked about it. Is there's an inherent juxtaposition of like, no, we're here to fly around we're on a never-ending mission to explore and make first contact and blah, 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 and that's what we're here to do. And then people will be like, this ship is fucking loaded with the highest tech phasers and photon torpedoes, and they're like, shut up. So, I don't know. I don't know. It is this, like, this future almost like, if you look at the design of shuttlecraft and the Enterprise, it does look like Disneyland or malls became the military. It's very sedate and serene, sterile thing. But it's that way on purpose.
Yeah.
But then that segues so great into Deep Space Nine, which is not a human station. It's a Cardassian Bajoran station that's like contested ground. And then I just love hearing when Quark is talking about, he's like sharing root beer with one of the Cardassians. And I forget the guy's name. He's the tailor, and he's in every
Gul Dukat.
Gul Dukat. Yeah, he's in like every fucking episode. And he's just like, hey, here, drink this. And Gul Dukat takes a drink. He's like, oh, it's disgusting. And then he's like, wait a minute, I kind of actually like this. And he takes another drink. It's so bubbly and refreshing, but syrupy and gross. And he's like, what is this? And he's like, Quark's like, it's called root beer, and it's exactly like the Federation. At first, you're like, it's this pleasant, fuzzy, happy thing, and then you detect this sickening sweetness underneath. But the problem is, the more of it you have, the more of it you start to like. And it's this great analogy of like the aliens, the other races, kind of. I don't know. That's something Star Trek does when it's doing it well. It does it very well. Of like putting a mirror up to humanity and being like, oh yeah, even in our beautiful utopian vision, which is what most of what Star Trek is, and nine times out of 10, that's something we should aspire to, because there's no money, there's no poverty, there's no greed. Everyone kind of got over the acquisition of wealth and power and control, and for the most part, humans are on a field of discovery and personal embetterment, and let's all work together to make things great. And yes, you can still live a fulfilled, happy, wealthy life, but you don't have to do it at the expense of other people. But then there's also the is everybody a scientist?
Yeah,
like, of course not. So there's a lot of fun to have.
Yeah, there's an interesting, there was an interesting like dichotomy there of fans who were like, they love the kind of, we might say cornball or corny vision that Roddenberry began the show with. But then there are other, like, I think a younger generation of fans who came to see the shows made after Roddenberry's death that were like, not everything's perfect in the Star Trek universe. Yeah. And there's more fun with the friction of the ideals of Roddenberry up against situations that can't easily solve.
And I mean, even TOS like has plenty of like, this is not a decision a perfect human would make. The idea, like, Kirk is not a perfect human, so it's like that whole humanity perfected is a very next gen thing, I feel, where everyone makes the right call almost every time.
Yeah.
And there's not really a personal arc from most of the characters, because they're like, oh, this is what every character should aspire to be. The problem is they became this person when the show started. So they don't really grow or go anywhere.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because I like that. Much like Family Guy. If you want to have a show that's all cutaway jokes and references, great. I don't want all comedy to be that, but if you have one, sure. If you want Next Gen, a lot of when Ron Moore or whoever would complain, like, none of these characters have any friction. How do you have any conflict? Find a way, writer. Yeah. You're the smart-ass writer. Figure out a solution that makes there be a conflict. And they do. Time and time and time again. You have great shows that don't revolve into petty arguments, love triangles, or basic misunderstandings that any other human would be like, oh, is that what you meant? Fuck, dude, I'm sorry. Like,
I'm just imagining that.
Like, just
now that Dave's not in the room, the lost Charlie, you were a drug addict? Yeah, in a world with drugs. It doesn't fucking matter. There doesn't have to be a multi-part arc on why you... it just made me cringe. A child was writing that. You used to be a drug addict, yes. Until you can make new drugs out of palm fronds, this is not an issue.
All right,
I introduced drugs to the island, but
but that's enough about Star Trek.
I found a cocaine stash.
It was a good time, though. I also
heroin. What did he find?
I am exhausted from Las Vegas. 5 days is too much Las Vegas.
It is.
You swallow some Suicide Squad, you'll be just fine.
Yes, yeah.
Which you did, and thank you for coming on. And I love doing those. I don't know if that format works with a DC movie without Henry, because, like, man, I am in the dark on most of Suicide Squad and those, especially those characters. I've read some.
You have to take a day off for Strange. We'll have to find a way to make it.
I probably
finds a way.
I finds a way.
Yeah.
Just Friday morning. Take half day.
No one will notice when you're broadcasting. You're skipping work live on the internet.
You can ask ahead of time.
I'll probably be doing another comp day. That's what I'm off today for. Comp day for working 2 weekends. I've now taken 2 of my 4 comp days.
Sure.
But I'll be back, guys.
Yes.
I'm never too far away, and we're already working on more Talking Simpsons this week. Lots of stuff going on behind the scenes.
30/2010 is still going, as y'all know, and I would encourage you to take a look at the Transformers 30th birthday article I put up. Just a ton of beautiful gifs that, if you still haven't watched the movie, this is kind of my last time I'm going to yell at you about it.
Yeah.
But it's my big, like, look, nobody here had to give a shit. People decided to give a shit and made a beautiful thing.
It's all collectively give a shit one last time on its
one
birthday.
last time.
and that, if you like that, we should have some Transformers representation on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/lasertime. In addition to some surprises, maybe involving Disney, more likely involving Tekken.
I wish Suicide Squad had Dare to Be Stupid in it, man.
Wow, yeah.
That would have been an action scene.
Man, you know a movie's confident when it has Dare to Be Stupid.
Yeah.
And it's on the planet led by Eric Idle, who
Who
plays a robot made out of a broken motorcycle.
I love that they could be broken and repaired every second.
I love the scene where they show, like, it's not hard to knock him down, it's getting him to stay down, that's the trick. And it shows them, and the one that was a motorcycle turns into a person, and the one that was a person turns into a motorcycle, and they just switch places, and you're like, this is fucked, they'll never win, because they can just do this forever. And, like, that one scene just sells so much about, like, this is such a cool fight. Like, how are they going to win? And they win by singing a song.
Ba week trana.
Ba weep grana weep nini ba.
All of you. That's where the movie loses me every time.
Okay, and
I'm
also,
on board every time until that part.
This week's question of the week is about your local town's
did
true
any of
crime
you guys
story.
have a cool true crime story?
Well, not cool, but I mean, there was like a horrible murder of someone being like taken to an animal hospital and like locked in a cage in there, and then like murdered in the cage. There was
Jesus Christ.
That's pretty intense. I bet
That's
they
a murder
found
to
the
send
person.
a message.
I bet they found the person, but I have not looked that up. Didn't want to know.
No true crime, just a bunch of stolen tractors where you're from,
can't-
Elston.
I mean, I one of them did come up on one of the investigations channel that just is nothing but like, maybe it was Forensic Files that's seemingly always running on headline news like this. Anyway, has anyone done like a fucking report on headline news? The channel. Like all it is Forensic Files.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
for years.
Oh,
we upgraded
for years. Every time I'm in a hotel, regardless of state, time zone, whatever. Sami Zayn even tweeted about this. He's like, I love how no matter where I am, I can always watch Forensic Files. It's all
headline news.
on headline news.
We updated our sling to watch the Olympics. I'm like, oh fuck, we got National Geographic. I want to watch some gorgeous nature documentaries all day. The Legend of Billy Mudd. And it's just this like soothing redneck. that's what an American person.
This isn't an unsolved one, but last year, like basically a mile from my old home in Florida, in Orange Park, Florida, they arrested that guy who had previously been a Gamergater, a terrorist member of Gamergate, who then also tried to
infiltrate ISIS.
Well, he thought he was trolling as somebody to radicalize them to then do a dirty bomb on the 9/11 anniversary in some city. What he was actually doing was talking to an FBI mole who was pretending to be. So he got trolled by the FBI, and then the FBI were so shocked of wait, you're like a Jewish 20-something who lives in a basement in Orange Park, Florida. You don't even believe in ISIS. Like, you're trying to do this. What they couldn't understand it.
This is going to make me sound so hick, but you made me think about it with Forensic Files. One of my friends did get murdered.
Whoa!
And this is like right when I moved here, and then all of a sudden, it might have been like a MySpace APB. Like, look, this show is going around trying to get people to be on camera and talk about this murder. If you're a friend of hers, do not talk to these people on camera. And then one of our friends did, and she became ostracized for speaking on one of these shows about our friend's murder.
Wow.
Florida, everybody, Florida.
Yeah.
Flight of the Navigator is the best thing to come out of Florida. Can I just say that? This has been bonus time. Let's close out with more Flight of the Navigator music.